All right, so welcome to our third lesson on critical thinking. So far, we have looked at what it means, why it's important, and certain elements that you need to keep in mind when you are thinking critically about the material that you consume. So, for example, critical thinking is when we look at information that is coming to us and we think, why am I being made to feel the way I feel? We have discussed things like nuance, like fallacies, although we will talk about that again shortly, and also things like some intellectual humility. We also discussed that it is important to keep the elements of context, audience, and purpose in mind when we are looking at information. So we talked about purpose being to teach, to persuade, and to entertain. Now I want to look at how. How is information organized in order to fulfill its purpose? So we're going to look at these different ways of organizing essays. Now, we're looking at essays in particular in this class, but I think that we can apply this to any kind of video or article or story. There's lots of different pieces of information that we are getting that are also doing these five different things, either analyzing, comparing, evaluating, persuading, or providing us with research. So to begin, we'll look at analysis. So when we are analyzing something, we're just breaking it apart and we're looking at all of the different components and figuring out how they work together in order to achieve an end goal. So here we can see all of the different pieces that might be put together in order to create one item that has a certain element of satisfaction to it. So some examples here. The science of insomnia, right? What are the different circumstances that lead to it, either in our lives or in our physiology? The response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, what were the different pieces of messages or the different people that were involved in making decisions? As we go through this, I want to just highlight some particular important key terms that might be used that suggest that something is being analyzed. So we can see here things about definition or the process of something, the conclusion that can be drawn from these different elements. If you see sentences like this, chances are you are reading something that is analyzing. Compare, we all hear this term, comparing apples to oranges. So what are the different details or factors or conditions that make two or more things similar or make them different? So we can see that sometimes comparison will be involved. Sometimes comparison will involve looking at different circumstances in order to rank things, comparisons in order to place something in history, or comparisons in order to determine the best decision. Some key terms that you might find in your sentences if an essay is being compared. Now remember that if you're comparing something, you can also be comparing differences. When we talk about compare and contrast. To evaluate something, sometimes you are comparing in order to choose the best thing, but other times you are just determining the success of one single idea, so one program or one service. So there are some examples here about the best streaming service or the pros and cons of online learning, so the good things and the bad things for learning online. So if you are evaluating, you are coming to a conclusion about the success or the value of something. Phrases that might be important for when evaluating. You are showing that something is attempting to do something. You are showing that there is an issue that has caused some failures or some successes. To persuade, right? To persuade, this is one that we probably think about the most, right? Why am I reading this thing? What is this thing convincing me to try and do? To persuade means to convince you, to rise to a call to action, to change your opinion. Some important terms that might be used, right? This is important because, right? It is essential that we, words like we must, we have to, stacking different ideas, right? Furthermore, this is even more important because of whatever reasons. And then finally, research. So you'll hear a lot about research as you are going through your academic journey, but some areas of communication require research more than others, but evidence is a sort of research, right? So if you are looking externally for things that back up your argument, right, a lot of times you really are doing research. The key is to make sure that you are getting that information from reputable sources. So whenever somebody is referencing something else, right, studies have shown or according to, participants believe, right, this is where we are seeing that there is research happening. So what I would like you to do is have a look at the examples that have been provided to you, and then also have a look at what you are reading in order to determine, is this are the essays that I'm reading, are they more analysis, are they evaluation, are they comparison, are they research? Okay, it's time to start really unpacking these things that we're reading to figure out how do they function and why. All right, so that's it for this lecture. Thank you very much, and be sure to do the asynchronous work that's on Blackboard.